Hey, what's up guys? My name is Jedith, and we have a brand new Devourer Demon Hunter blog post put out by Blizzard. We're going to take a look at it and go over some of the new information that you're learning in this blog post. I just want to say for today's video, I'm going to be looking over this way. My main monitor blew up. It exploded. So I'm waiting on my replacement to show up. It should be getting here tomorrow. So in the meantime, I'm relying on my second monitor, and it's over to my left. So if you're not completely up to speed, Demon Hunter is getting a new third spec in Midnight called Devourer, and it's going to be a mid-range hybrid of a caster and a melee. We're not entirely sure exactly how it's going to work and how it's going to feel, but we can bet it's going to be pretty unique, and there's not going to be anything else like it in the game. So that's pretty exciting. The information has kind of been drip-fed to us over the past week or so. I would expect we're going to be getting a lot more information in the coming weeks, and Alpha is going to be coming out very soon, which I will also be a part of. So I'll be able to give you some firsthand, hands-on demonstrations of how this actually works. But until then, all we have to work with is the information that Blizzard are giving us through blog posts and videos. So they put out a brand new blog post today. So introducing the Devourer Demon Hunter, a third specialization that utilizes the power of the Void instead of Fel, like other demon hunters. This glaive-wielding, soul-harvesting, and planet-crushing spellcaster operates from mid-range with the full suite of mobility you'd expect from demon hunters. So that's pretty cool to hear. We're still keeping a lot of the mobility that we have as demon hunters, whether that's, whatever a Fel Rush brings. It might not be called a Fel Rush anymore. It might be something else. Vengeful Retreat. That really high-paced, high-mobility gameplay is going to still be here with Devourer. Use specialization and hero talents to augment your playstyle, enabling you to dive into melee and unleash devastating combo attacks. So I think on first read, when people are looking at this, they're like, oh, it's conflicting. They don't know what they're doing. But I think we just don't fully understand how it works yet. And once we actually get our hands on it, it'll probably make a lot more sense. I truly think it's a hybrid. It's in between. We're going to be doing both. We'll be spellcasting from mid-range and then doing certain combos to pull us into melee range. We'll do certain things there. We'll leap back out, cast some spells, rinse and repeat. So ability examples: Void Metamorphosis. After reaping enough souls, you gain access to your iconic Demon Hunter transformation with a twist. No cooldown and no set duration. This is wild to hear. So currently on Havoc, meta, of course, the button itself with a talent is a 2-minute cooldown. Without the talent, it's 3. And then we also go into demon form through I-Beam. There's certain talents that modify the cooldown on I-Beam itself, but for all intents and purposes, it's like a 20-second cooldown or a 40-second cooldown. So Void Metamorphosis is not going to have a cooldown at all, meaning you can go into it as often as you are able to, I guess as often as you can get enough souls to do so. And the duration of your Void meta is completely up to you and your gameplay. As long as you can keep extending it, you can stay in that Void form. After entering Void Metamorphosis, you'll gain substantially increased power. Your Void Rays mechanics change completely, and Fury will rapidly drain. So this kind of sounds like, if you've ever experimented in your talent tree and played Fel Barrage, kind of sounds like something similar to that. It's a channeled ability while you're still able to do other things. And as it's going, your Fury bar is draining. With Fel Barrage, it drains pretty rapidly and there's like a set duration to it. But with this, it sounds like, as long as you can offset that drain by however you gain Fury, then that's how you stay in your meta form and you keep doing damage. Your ability to drain, consume, and harvest souls will determine how long and how powerful this transformation will be. It sounds like it's a mix between Fel Barrage that we have now and the old school Shadow Priest. I forget what the mechanic was called. If there's any old school Shadow Priests, type it down in the comments. But basically every second of your gameplay is you're hanging on for dear life, trying to do whatever you can to keep extending your duration in that increased power form. And the longer you can stay in, the more damage you're going to do. So here's a cool picture of a Demon Hunter using Void Ray. And again, Void Ray is basically just Devourer's version of I-Beam. And it talks about it a little bit here. A Void corrupted version of I-Beam. You'll get a longer range and cast more frequently, but still be just as deadly. So I don't think we should read too much into the exact wording here. Like where it says still be just as deadly, I don't think that's them saying, hey, it's going to do exactly the same damage as I-Beam does, but you'll get to use it more often. I think just in relative to your entire toolkit of all your abilities, Void Ray is still going to be a pretty powerful ability. It's going to pack a punch, despite being able to cast it more frequently, because there's always that offset. There's that balance of, if you're able to cast something too often, it can't be that powerful. Or if you're not able to cast something very often, it has to be powerful to pack that punch. So I think what this is saying is it's just going to feel good to press. We're going to cast it a lot, which is good. Potentially would get a longer range than I-Beam. Not 100% sure, but that's cool. That would make sense because if we are having to play out at range, we do need a little bit of an extension on our abilities, I would imagine. And now Collapsing Star. A substantial portion of your Void Metamorphosis damage is going to come from this earth-shattering finisher, Collapsing Star. After consuming a veritable mountain of souls, you'll channel their power into one destructive blast that'll leave your enemies a heaping pile of ash. They're very descriptive here. Every time you cast Collapsing Star in Void Metamorphosis, it gets stronger. So it's a 25-yard range, a 2.5-second cast. So this is something that we're definitely not used to with Demon Hunter, is actually having a cast time on abilities. The only thing I can think of that I've had to deal with in terms of cast time is like certain trinkets in the past. Sometimes those have cast times, but we've never really had an ability that had a cast time, especially one as long as that. So the tooltip of it says, channel an immense amount of void energy into a single cataclysmic attack, dealing cosmic damage to your target and all nearby enemies. So we'll have to see how this damage is distributed, if it's higher damage to your primary target and then drop off damage after 5, or if it's the same amount of damage replicated on every single target, completely uncapped. That seems kind of broken. I don't think that would probably be the case. That seems pretty powerful. But the cool thing is, while casting Collapsing Star, your Fury Drain is paused. So that hanging on sort of mentality that we were talking about earlier with your Void Metamorphosis, because it is a 2.5-second cast, 2.5 seconds that you're not generating Fury and, you know, getting the resources that you need to be extending meta, it is actually paused. Your Fury Drain is paused while you're channeling that 2.5-second cast. So that's really good to hear. What this means is you'll never really get robbed of a cast, right? If you have enough resources to get a Collapsing Star cast off, you're going to finish that cast and you're going to get the effects of it. You're not going to like lose your Void meta form halfway through the Collapsing Star channel and then the cast fails because you dropped out of meta form. That's not going to be the case because your Fury Drain is paused, so that's really cool. For a little extra Void, when in the Devourer specialization, all Demon Hunter abilities will use Void effects and icons, even abilities that are shared across all 3 specializations. So this does clear up one of the questions that I had was, we saw in the demonstrations that Devourer was using the Hunt, and it looked completely different, right? It was very blue. The blue, purple, void theme type of thing. Whereas right now, the Hunt is green, I believe. Mine is blue. There's a glyph you can get from Shadowlands that makes it look like the old original version of the Hunt that is like a light blue. But the Devourer version is definitely darker blue, purple, very voidy. I'd be curious to see what other abilities are included in this. Potentially Immolation Aura. Maybe we'll be pulsating blue, purple flame. I really don't know what other abilities are going to be shared across the 3 different specializations. Like which abilities from Havoc are we going to have access to? Which abilities from Vengeance, if any, are we going to have access to? There's still a lot of questions that need to be answered, but this is a cool thing to read and see that they're doing where, you know, abilities can have different visual effects based on which spec you're in. So new hero talents. With the introduction of a new specialization, Demon Hunters also gain a new hero talent tree called Annihilator. This new tree is shared between Devourer and, see, they originally put Havoc. Here's what happened, guys. In the original Gamescom panel, they said that Annihilator was shared between Devourer and Vengeance. So that's what we went with, right? And then this blog post came out last night. And then it said, okay, now Annihilator is shared between Devourer and Havoc. And we were like, oh, okay, well, that changes things. So as soon as I read that, I was like, wait a minute, that's not what we were initially told. So I reached out to my contacts at Blizzard and I was like, hey, can we get some clarification on this? Like, this is not what was said in the Gamescom panel. And then they got back to me very quickly and said, hey, yes, that this is wrong. We're going to update the post. So they've gone back and updated it now. The Annihilator tree is shared between Devourer and Vengeance Demon Hunters. Devourer Demon Hunters will also gain access to the Scarred Hero Talent Tree, formerly called Fellscarred. So Fellscarred is changing to just Scarred. Makes sense, because if Devourer is using Fellscarred, they're not Fell oriented anymore. They're Void, so it's just Scarred. Cool. And then new race class combination, Void Elf Demon Hunter. Players will gain access to the new Void Elf Demon Hunter combination through a short quest line as a part of the Midnight pre-expansion content update, along with the Devourer specialization. So just to be clear here, the Devourer specialization for Demon Hunter is coming in the pre-patch of Midnight. So you're not going to have to wait all the way until the actual expansion launch. We're going to get it probably a month or so before the actual expansion hits the market. And this is great because this gives us some time to experiment with the spec spec and try it in some content, learn how to play it, figure out what it feels like and if we like it or not. I'm pretty sure we're going to like it. I'm stoked on it, guys. I hope you guys are excited too, because I do plan on making a lot of content for this spec because it's something new. I don't know about you guys, but I've been feeling a little bored with things lately. Having a brand new spec to play with is super exciting. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you want more information on the Devourer Demon Hunter, you can join my Discord. I'm going to be putting all of the information as I learn it in that channel there. We have a very specific Devourer Demon Hunter channel, and I'll be putting all my guides there, all my write-ups, all of the cool things that I discover as I get myself into the alpha, and we can start dissecting things there. You can also follow me over on Twitch. If you have some questions you want to ask me, you can pop by there. Or if you just want to hang out and have a good time, I'm there 3 or 4 times a week, and yeah, come say hi. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.